You're listening to The Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9 in Tuscaloosa.
100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Here's Eddie Garcia.
In the NCAA men's basketball tournament, Midwest Regional Final, top seed Purdue beats the 2-seed Tennessee 71-66. Boilermaker star Zach Edey, 40 points, 16 rebounds in the win, helping his team get to the Final Four for the first time since 1980. South Regional Final, 11-seed NC State still alive, beating the 4-seed Duke 76-64. Wolfpack are going to the Final Four for the first time since they won it all back in 1983, and they're tied for the lowest seeded team ever to reach a Final Four. NBA games of note, Thunder get by the Knicks in New York 113-112. Thunder officially clinch a playoff spot with that win. Nuggets also clinch. Defending champs beat the Cavaliers 130-101 to remain a half game back of Oklahoma City for the top spot in the Western Conference. Timberwolves fall a game back in the West, losing at home to the Bulls 109-101. Mavericks beat the Rockets 125-107. Luka Doncic 47 points for the Mavs. Houston's 11-game winning streak is snapped.
Alabama 1st and 10 on the 12. Again, Houston. He's got a hole. He's over. Alabama touchdown.
I'm just wondering if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to summer and you were playing fullback up there, and I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. If you could you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to pick you, and our running back coach didn't take the pass. Biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier, powered by Max Sports. It's a beautiful Monday morning. We're live, local, and ready to get things rolling right here on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC. I'm about to say something that's never been said before Saturday. By an Alabama radio host. Let this sink in, Bama fans. Let this sink in. Alabama, Final Four bound. It's never been said before, X. It's never been said. I mean, those 4 words have never been put together in a statement before Saturday. Bama, Final Four bound. I like that. Good morning, Alabama Nation. It is crazy to think about. It's amazing the last few days. I told you Friday, it's all about the Crimson Flow. Of course, we celebrated the resurrection of Jesus Christ on yesterday. There is no comparison with the Crimson Flow, the blood of Jesus, but there is a lot of love that can go out to the Crimson Tide for what they were able to do. It is absolutely an amazing day in the sports world of Alabama basketball. It's just, I'm going to open up the phones and the mic and live stream and say, hey guys, Bama fans, have at it. This is your day to celebrate. This reminds me of something that happened in football. The Auburn Tigers had something over the Alabama Crimson Tide, and quite often they would would celebrate it, and Alabama fans would have to make an excuse and say, yeah, but, football is a team sport, and in that, you guys have the Heisman trophies, but, we have the national championships, and then Alabama got a guy named Nick Saban, and he continued to win the national championships. And then he went on to start winning Heisman trophies, and now Alabama has taken the lead there. Well, very similar in basketball. Auburn got Bruce Pearl and X. They were able to say, hey, we've been to a Final Four. You may be the second win in this program, but you've not been able to climb the mountaintop. You've not been able to get to the elite Final Four. You've not been at the coveted Final Four. You've not been able to get there. We have. Well, no more. The Auburn Tigers can now no longer say, we got somewhere you didn't in your program. All right. So it'll be interesting to see how the Alabama Crimson Tide handles this newfound success, but they've done nothing but respond to the challenge. I had a bunch of questions last week. Preface, if Nate Oates gets to the Final Four, should he get a trophy? A statue. I asked that question last week. I even asked the question last week, if they win, would you rather see Alabama get to a Final Four in basketball or see Alabama win another national championship? I want the Alabama fans to call up and tell me, what were they feeling Saturday when this team was battling and when this team was knocking down threes and the emotion and the craziness? Did that feeling of getting to the Final Four, did it match the same feeling and emotion of a national title? Did it? I want to know. I want you to be honest. Could you tell a difference in those emotions when it came to that? We're going to talk about it, man. We're going to talk about it, and we're going to give you an opportunity to do that at 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904. That's the Alabama One hotline. You can also add your thoughts, your comments, your reactions to the live stream chat. So as we move forward, I'm going to get a few of those comments in. I'm going to get the phone lines up and rolling, and want to remind you that this is the day that the Lord has made. So let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. Time for a little Medita as the Alabama Crimson Tide have found themselves in the Final Four. Let's let that sink in. You guys are watching history. Now, it's fun to watch what Saban did, but you literally are part of history. Alabama basketball in rare air, a place it's never been. So now I ask you the question again, is Nate Oates to go? Does Nate Oates need a statue? Does Nate Oates get the same love, the same respect? Is he and Saban up there in the Alabama basketball? Is it Bear, Saban, Nate Oates? Where does he fall in the all-time greats of Alabama coaches? Man, it's so much. It's so much, X. Good morning, X. How you doing, man?
Man, doing amazing. What a night Saturday was. What an experience. And it's funny that you talk about that emotion. For me, I was around for the 92 national championship, but I don't remember it. But the feeling that I got in 2009 watching Alabama beat Texas was very reminiscent of the feeling that I got Saturday night watching Alabama beat Clemson to go to the Final Four. Very, very reminiscent. So I have to go with, it special. That moment was special.
Hey, Justin, let me ask you something. You now, what was your first national title that you remember?
It would be probably 2009.
Were we expected to win that?
I don't believe so, no.
Yeah, I think we were expected to beat Texas.
Okay, yeah. Well, I guess you're right.
Yeah. I mean, it was expected to be a good game, but I think we nobody was shocked or surprised. I don't think Saban was an underdog for like 50 years at Alabama until in a championship game until Georgia this past year that we won. But my point behind it is it was something that had been done before, and you were expecting. You were expecting to be there. It was not a, oh my goodness, we're playing for the Final Four. Are we playing for a championship? And so when I look at that, I'm telling you, I want to know, Bama fans, did you find yourself? Because some of us already said we want the basketball Final Four. Because, man, it's history. Let that sink in. There did no group of Alabama fans have ever watched this happen. When I say this happened, I just got to let y'all listen for a second. Just take a second and just see what you think here.
The Tide would be heading to the Final Four, and he got that chance.
Bama throws the whole run to Estrada. One block, 2, 1, layup good. 1.9 to go. Tigers inbound. Clock hits 0, and let's get out of here and go to the Final Four.
Those are the words he uses often. Let the Tide.
Let's get out of here. That was Chris Stewart calling Alabama's calling Alabama's last shot. I love that Estrada. Isn't it appropriate, X, that instead of Estrada letting the clock run out, that this offensive bound team go ahead and get 2 more points? Now, of course, there's probably some people who had some money on the game that was hollering, no, stop, just hold it. Well, and other people going, yeah, go, score, whatever. But either way, what a moment. I would love to know what some of the bets were out there, X, for this championship game. Because coming back on the other side, we're going to get a couple phone calls. We're not going to have Kennington Smith III today, so the phone lines are open for you guys. I'm going to read some comments. But I want to know if you had some type of bet out there, did anybody make any crazy bets that you would do something if Alabama made it to the Final Four? If you did, call us up and tell us what that is. And I think we have one pretty close to home, X. So we'll be back on the other side right here on your home for Alabama Sports Tide 100.9, 12:30 a.m. WTBC. Let me say this, X, as we go to break. No, I'm gonna let you say it. Say those 4 words. Let me see. Bama Final Four. What is it now? What's that? That's never been said before.
Bama Final Four bound. What a beautiful saying.
Let that sink in. We'll be back on the Martin Houston Show to keep the conversation going. 205-342-9904. That's the Alabama One hotline. And we'll be back on the other side to get you in the conversation. Also add your thoughts on chat as well.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We're starting this Monday morning drive with a small problem spot in Vance. This is eastbound 2059 past the Daimler-Benz Boulevard exit. Accident there that is on the right shoulder of the road. No lanes blocked and no backup through the area, but just be aware.
Is your number one dealer, and they'll beat any written offer or pay you $1,000. Keeping you number one keeps Townsend Nissan number one. See dealer for details.
365, 24/7. You'll find road and utility crews, tow truck, law enforcement, and first responders working along Alabama's roadway.
We're making improvements and helping our communities stay connected.
We're working hard to make sure you're safe on the road. Now we need your help to make sure we're safe too.
Alabama's Move Over law requires you to move over a lane when you see flashing lights on the road.
Nonprofit offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
Are you receiving unemployment? Your benefits could be at risk. Here's how you can protect yourself and your benefits. Never respond to mail notifying you of a false claim in your name. Never answer a text message asking you to verify your account. And only respond to official Alabama Department of Labor's social media pages. Report fraud at labor.alabama.gov/fraud. Brought to you.
If you want to give her the big stuff, you've got to see these diamonds.
VentureEndorsement.com, a little tricky to find on McFarland Boulevard between Edgar's and local routes.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Another very warm day today. The sky partly sunny, the high 82. For tonight, fair with the low at 65. Tomorrow, warm and breezy. Thunderstorms are likely by mid to late afternoon. Those storms could be strong to severe. The high 83. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 66 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
The sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team. The Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. Don't forget about Billy's Cooking Restaurant. Billy's Cooking Restaurant, located over in Holt, Alabama. They have DoorDash, so you can call DoorDash and get it delivered. Or if you want to place a call-in order, 205-632-8617. Or if you want to drop by 3702 Alabama Avenue Northeast, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, located directly across from the old Holt High School. That's Billy's Cooking Restaurant. Find them on Facebook at Billy's Cooking LLC. All right, X. I have to quick football news. When you have to work in football news, that's all you need to say about what Nate Oates is doing. When you have to work in football news, not reporting it as fact, but there are rumors. I just had Adam the Ford send me a message in Messenger, or ask a question in Messenger. Is there any truth to the Brails transfer out of Alabama? That seems to be the trending focus of the topic, that he will be back into the portal. That's I think that hurts from a depth standpoint, but undoubtedly it means that the younger Brockermeyer, which will make our next caller really happy, the young Brockermeyer, which seems to be the tenacious of the two Brockermeyer brothers, looks like he said, "Hey, baby, not so fast," and refused to give up his spot as Alabama center. But Alabama still needs depth, and Kevin DeBoer said that the other day. Respond to that really quick, X, and then we'll get back to some basketball conversation.
Yeah, that's been a trending topic of last 4 or 5 days. Nothing solid, but from what all I've heard from people that have been at practices and been around this team, is James Brockermeyer has not let up. He has been competing. At best, they're splitting reps. There is a rumor that Brailsford did not participate in the scrimmage on Friday, so that is lending toward this being a true statement.
Yeah, you mean Thursday, the last scrimmage?
Thursday.
Yeah. But anyway, great news. In case you missed it, I have to play this one more time. Just one more time.
The Tide would be heading to the Final Four, and he got that chance.
Bama throws the whole line to Estrada. One block, 2, 1, layup good. 1.9 to go. Tigers inbounded. 1 hit 0. And let's get out of here and go to the Final Four.
Those are the words he uses often. The Tide would be.
Woo! Let's get out of here. No one was expecting Chris Stewart to be saying that right before a Final Four game, but he definitely did. People throwing up some comments over in the chat regarding some of the memories. CJ Watson, maybe the biggest basketball fan that I personally know, saying, I remember finding Alabama basketball as a little kid in the 80s, saw them on TV and had no idea we had basketball. Or anything other than football. Rocked my world, and I have been hooked ever since and have been waiting since that year for that Final Four to come. It's here. I want Bama fans to let me know, had you given up on the possibility? I saw one fan that wrote an apology letter on Facebook to the university because he had given up on Alabama ever getting to the Final Four. I just want to know, is Nato the GOAT? Does he get a statue? Did you have the same feeling when Alabama won the Final Four? I mean, won that Elite Eight game to go to the Final Four. I'm telling you, my emotions and how I was feeling was exactly, if not more, because of the way basketball is played. Like in football, I remember watching my first national championship in Saban. I was not an Alabama fan, so I didn't. The 79 and 8, the first national championship game I remember really for Alabama was mine in 92. The first one I remember watching as a fan was Saban. Well, I knew that was over. It was over, X. With that one the other night, man, when we were up by 9, I'm like, woo, here we go. Then we were up by 3. I'm like, uh-oh. Every motion, man, it was like, that's why I love basketball, because it is, when you have a game like this, you have to play in the threes falling and Stevenson playing and Pringle going to the free throw line and making and ones and hitting a guy shooting, 40% from the free throw line, being the man it was just, woo. Pat, you're in on the Alabama One hotline with Martin and Xavier. What you got, man?
Hey, Martin, I want to see what kind of rhyme you had this morning. I got one for you. Final Four in 24.
That's what I'm talking about. Hey, listen, Pat, add one more thing to that. And anticipating more. Say all that together, Pat.
More. Okay, I got you.
It's Final Four in 24 and anticipating more. I don't think this run is over. Nate Oates, guys, I think that the win the other night, Pat, may have locked us in. I think he signed a 2-year crazy buyout, $18 million buyout, thinking that in 2 years, if he hadn't got his program to this level, then he would leave and go to a place where he could get it to this level.
But all I know is he's far exceeded expectations, and I'll make a pledge of $50 for the statue if they're going to do it. And I challenge the rest of your callers to do the same.
Does he deserve a statue, Pat?
Hey, we'll put him on. I want to put him on outside of Coleman Coliseum right there at the exit so the football team can see
it. So you're saying that he deserves it? He has done enough to get a statue, in your opinion?
Now, yes, sir. Well, that's never happened. Oh, we've had some really great coaches, and I want it to be with his plaid jacket that he wore winning that game, and colorized the jacket, not just a bronze statue, but colorized the jacket.
Look at you, Pat. Throwing a little design there.
Yeah. But Morton, I went over. We had a watch party at Baumhauer's, and I went over at 6:00 to make sure I had a table for my buddies, and we ordered hors d'oeuvres. Yes, so many people, throughout the whole time we stayed there from 6:00 to 10:00, 4 hours, and that we just kept ordering hors d'oeuvres so we could hold our table. We had everything Bob had on the menu. And even ordered beignets at the end. But wow, it's absolutely incredible that people left. We were down 13 points, and there were some folks that got up and left. I got to admit it. I feel sorry for them. I really do. We stayed to the bitter end, and wow, the rammer jammer that they did at the end of the ball game. Hey, you could have heard it. Over in Clemson, that Dabo, I guarantee you heard it over at Clemson. Bless his heart.
Well, Pat, let me hear you say it, Pat. Bama Final Four bound. Let me hear you as a Bama fan say that on the airwaves, man.
Bama finally Final Four bound. Absolutely incredible in a roll tide.
Roll tide.
Bye-bye.
All right. David, you're in on the Alabama One hotline with Martin and Xavier. What's on your mind, sir?
Hey, y'all. Listen, hey, thanks for Martin for recognizing yesterday's main event, Resurrection. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
I'm 68 years old. I was here for C.M. Newton's years, of course, Wimp years. And I've made the comment, I don't know how many years ago, long time ago, I just hope I live long enough to see Alabama go to the Final Four one time in basketball.
Congratulations.
I made it. I didn't think I was going to make it. I did not think I would ever see Alabama go to the Final Four in basketball. And whoever it was on TV, somebody said, one of those comments, maybe Alabama is maybe they are a basketball school. Look, I don't know why football, basketball, baseball cannot coexist at the University of Alabama. I've never known that. Now, with all this cool stuff and all this, everything's different now. It's all different. It's all changed. I don't really like it, but it is what it is. But I just have to say it's just, for us basketball people, it's huge. It's just I didn't think I'd live to see it, but
David, let me ask you a question. You said you're 68 years old. You've seen all of Alabama's greatness. I mean, Alabama is the second winningest program, championship-wise, tournament-wise, win-wise, in SEC. But this has eluded them. And so I ask you, does making it to the Final Four rival right up against the national title, in your opinion, because of it being such an elusive? You're talking 40. You were a teenager, I guess, when you became a fan of Alabama basketball.
Oh yeah,
and that's 40 plus years, or 50 plus years of you waiting on that moment. How sweet was it?
Well, listen, yeah. My comment has always been making the Final Four. I don't know that I even care. Now, look, I'd like to win the championship. I'd like to be national champion. but it's different in basketball. Okay,
that's right.
It's different in basketball. You get to the Final Four, and you're in the top class, man. You know the playoffs in the football. You know, 4 teams. I don't know. It's just a difference. You talked about it earlier. The whole atmosphere of a basketball game and the emotions of a basketball game. It's just different, and so. You know, the Final Four just means more than even, you know, going to Omaha, baseball, you know, College World Series. Final Four in basketball, what do they say? You know, the road to the Final Four. I mean, it's just so, yeah, we're going to have to play our best game to stay with UConn, and they're going to have kind of like an off day, I think. Maybe not. But there you go again. You don't know about basketball. You can't tell, man. You can't tell.
Hey, listen, the fact that NC State is there, and this is so reminiscent of what they did back in I promise you this. The matchup between Alabama and UConn is not as big a disparity as the Phi Slamma Jamma was against NC State. Now, I know that Wichita has some statistics, but when you look at talent on the field and ability, there was not. I don't think anybody other than NC State thought NCAA even had a puncher's chance against the Houston team with the Phi Slamma Jamma, and they pulled it off in a national championship game. So it's going to take some really, really good stuff, but. David, I think Alabama has a chance, and that's all you can ask for, to get to this place and have a chance.
Up and you play in a tournament in basketball, and anything can happen, and it's every year. Every year, this tournament, it's just that's the way these tournaments go in basketball. It's just like I've said, it's just different. And anyway, look, I got to go, but
hey, David, where are you from?
I'm right here. I'm a local guy.
All right. Roll Tide, man.
Yeah, roll Tide. Okay. All right.
Appreciate you, man. That is so awesome. And X, that's the type of thing that you won't hear when Kalen DeBoer wins his first national title this year. You're not going to hear any calls like that.
Right.
You're just not going to hear, I have been following this team for 5 decades, wanting them to reach a place that they've never reached before. I mean, it's just, and you've like last year, you would have thought that last year was a year. And then you would have thought this year wouldn't be the year. This team may be healthy by Saturday. And if they are, do they have a chance? Coming back on the other side, we got a couple more callers to get in. And I wanted to give you guys a chance to see, do you have anybody out there have any prop bets that you made on your own? Like you just said, man, if Alabama wins, I'm going to do this. Now, don't call up and tell me anything inappropriate. But if you have something you can share on the air, give us a call, type it in. Let me know what you were willing to put on the line for an Alabama win. And now I guess the big question is what you're willing to put on the line. What would you be willing to offer up?
/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
Interact with the Martin Houston Show by calling us at 205-342-9904 or tuning into the Martin Houston Show on Facebook.
X, it is crazy to think about Alabama basketball being where it's at. And because of that, there's been probably some crazy things done out there. I haven't gotten any from our listening audience. But one of our very own team members, X, I don't know if you say he put his foot in his mouth or if he, let's see, what's the best way to say it? He didn't necessarily put his foot in his mouth, X, but he was called a communist last week. Talking about Justin. Justin, I heard you made a bet, or you were teasing because you didn't expect it, but you may have put your foot in your mouth. Now, what was your jokingly public statement that cost you?
Yeah, there's definitely something above my mouth now. That's for sure. Going into before the game Friday and Thursday, it was kind of talked about a little bit on some of the shows here on Tide. But as you know, at 11 to 12, me and Wyatt, we do T-Town Sports Daily. And to clarify, I never picked against the Tide. I picked the Tide.
No, you didn't.
I picked the Tide in this game, and I think I got pretty close on the score too. That's neither here nor there. But after Grant Nelson's stellar performance, I said if Alabama wins and goes to the Final Four, I'm gonna do a little bit of honoring Grant Nelson, and my beard is now gone, and all that remains is a mustache. And I don't know if I pull it off like Grant does, but I definitely.
Wyatt, you have to share a picture with you. You have to do a before and after post. Where can people find you? You have to do a before and after post.
Can you blame me if I haven't shared a picture yet, though? I mean, I can't.
No,
really...
hey, listen. I cannot blame you. I cannot blame you because I call it the perp stash. Okay, I
may post a picture though later today, and it'd be at Justin RJ AK on Twitter. I may share it to the. You
need to tag
Twitter,
me.
So
tag Martin Houston 35. You have to tag me.
I got you.
Post it.
I got you.
All right. Now, Justin, the irony of your perp stash now is the fact that you were called a communist last week, and now you got I'm gonna change it from Grant to Hitler stash.
Whoa. No, it's a little more full. It's a little more
I'm
full.
just kidding. Will you hate to be cutting down to try to get the perp stash in honor of Grant Nelson and end up with a Hitler stash?
And I was very careful not to take too much. I still can't walk near a school or anything like that with this. So.
Don't.
500 feet. 500 feet.
I'm telling you, that is the absolute worst trend I think I have ever seen. I mean, it shows you that young guys don't know the history of stuff. But that is definitely, when I was growing up, man, that was like the worst thing you could have. That's why old people like me call it the perp stash. So, Justin, I can't wait to see the picture in honor. And I guarantee you there's going to be even crazier stuff happening. I just wonder, I want to know, we'll let this run throughout the week, but what are Bama fans willing, if you could get if you could get Alabama into the championship game, what would you be willing to give up? What would you be willing to put on the line if you knew you would win by Bama advancing? Call us up and let us know. J-Rob, you're in on the Alabama One hotline with Martin and Xavier. What's on your mind?
Good morning, Roll Tide, Martin and X. How you doing today?
Hey, Bama Final Four bound. That's all I need to say.
You're right. Man, Justin, is he going to look like a porn star when he gets it all grown out very good? That's what we call him in my day.
Hey, J-Rob, I was trying to keep this PG by calling it a perp stash.
Just come on out and say it, man.
Oh my goodness! Oh, we're gonna have to repent. We're gonna have to put some of that blood of Jesus on this show after today.
Yeah, well, hopefully, I mean, if we keep winning, it's gonna stay. So, but as
I'm sure,
it's up until the national championship. I'll sacrifice for that.
That's great. That's great.
Oh, what you got, J-Rob?
Man, I feel such a sense of pride and excitement for this team because the way they came.
Oh, did we lose? Did we lose J-Rob?
You might have lost him. Let me try to get him back here. We can go to next.
Oh, let's go to Chuck. Huh? Let's go ahead and go to Chuck. J-Rob, call back up. Hey, Chuck, you're in with Martin and Xavier. What's on your mind?
Good morning to you all over in Tide Nation. I know you all are very happy today. I watched that game, and like I said, I didn't know when they would make it to the Final Four. I knew you all had a chemistry order to make it in under Nate Oates. And you and I, Brother Houston, you know, we remember that Alabama basketball back in the 80s. That's all I remember of Alabama was Wimp Sanderson, because I didn't see football national championship winning until you guys, Brother Houston and Gene Stallings' team and the 92 team, which was my senior school term of high school. But I look at who you all are playing. UConn, I think about, talking about Blue Bloods, UConn's really not a Blue Blood. They can become, like I said, it was the 89-90 season when we started hearing about University of Connecticut under Jim Calhoun, and I just think about who you all are playing, and they didn't win their first national championship until 1999 with Richard Rip Hamilton when they beat Duke. But I look at you all are the ones that have a longer legacy of basketball than the University of Connecticut. And I was thinking about Danny Hurley. When Hurley was playing at Seton Hall, you were at Alabama, and I look at what he's done with that program. And, they won with Jim Calhoun, Kevin Ollie, and Danny Hurley. And the thing about it, Nate Oates has a chance to be the one who can. I think he can get over the hump. You all really could be a national championship team. I think you all had a chemistry to do it.
Well, I appreciate that, Chuck, and you make a great point. The right coach gets something going, and I think if you think Alabama could recruit, Nate Oates could recruit coming into this year, man, he just showed. Yeah. He just what he did Saturday set this program up to not just get here, but be in the mix going forward. As long as he's at the helm. I mean, it's now almost scary. I know this sounds crazy. It's almost scary now to think about post Nate Oates as much or more than it was post Saban. Because Saban took a football program that had been to the mountaintop. He just took us to a mountaintop and kept us there longer than anybody. But it had been there before. It had been proven that multiple coaches could get Alabama football to that level. No coach has ever done this in the Crimson jersey. So, I got to run, Chuck, but, man, thanks for highlighting that. And most people don't know that Chuck joins us from Louisiana. He's I call him our resident historian. It is amazing what he knows and the dates and all of that. But Chuck, appreciate that insight. And thank you, sir. Maybe this is where Alabama becomes the program like Connecticut was. Maybe 20 years from now, 25 years from now, people are talking about Nate Oates getting Alabama to a place it's never been. And then from that point on, Alabama becomes a UConn of the basketball world. We'll be back on the other side to keep the conversation rolling. We still have a couple other calls. I want to remind you, tomorrow I have the West Alabama Prayer Breakfast, which kicks off at 7 o'clock. So I'll be doing some remote co-hosting with Xavier on tomorrow. And we'll be glad to invite you into the conversation because we're going to keep it going, man. This week is going to be about opening up the mic and letting you as Bama fans just talk, man. Just have a blast. If there's something, an angle you want us to take this week to talk about in basketball, let's do that. Like the Hurley connection. Just think about the craziness of basketball, X. One brother hires Nate Oates to only find the other brother playing against him at Alabama. I mean, it's just the craziness of it. But we'll talk about it. We'll keep it broken down right here on the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. You can be a part of that conversation. We'll be back in just a moment to keep the conversation rolling.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We had a minor accident on eastbound 2059 past the Daimler-Benz Boulevard exit in Vance. That scene is now cleared. It was off on the shoulder of the road most of the time anyway, but now gone altogether, and it never caused any major backups through the area. You're moving nicely on 2059 from Foster's to Cottondale, and the drive-in on McFarland Boulevard as well. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Ray Romero.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Monday morning. Multiple residents of Lennox Square Apartments on Crescent Ridge Road East in Tuscaloosa were rescued from a fire there Easter Sunday morning. Some residents were trapped inside the apartments as the fire spread. 4 were rescued by Tuscaloosa Fire Rescue Service. 1 transported to DCH Regional Medical Center with unknown injuries. Cause of that blaze is still under investigation. Click TuscaloosaThread.com for more local news, sports, and weather coverage all throughout the day. It's free. Don Hartley, Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
Go inside the Alabama Crimson Tide with the Gary Harris Show.
Hey, everybody, it's Gary Harris. Monday morning on the Gary Harris Show at 9 a.m. Is Alabama in the Final Four? Did the Tide make it over the weekend? We'll know, and we'll discuss. Plus, Rodney Orr from TiderInsider.com and Casey Smith on golf. Your phone calls and more. That's Monday morning.
April 23rd, get a $15 gift card when you buy 5 or more quarts of Edge or Edge High Mileage Full Synthetic, only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Claim based on Sequence 3 H-test versus API SP test limits.
Keep it locked into Tide 100.9 for more of the Martin Houston Show with Martin Houston and X's and O's Sports, Xavier Houston.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier.
For all the naysayers, is 36 too many? 16 out of 36 ain't bad, though. 48 points from three-point line isn't too bad. So, look.
That's Coach Nate Oates, ex, throwing out a little, for all the naysayers out there, throwing out a little shade for those who question his system. We'll use some more of that audio as we move throughout this week from his March Madness post-game conversation. He was asked a question there, does he feel like his system was vindicated because the Clemson coach said, and others had questioned whether or not you can win with his style. I don't know if you've seen one of the posters, one of the scenarios where they're showing the 4 teams that's going to the Final Four. But I put in there one of these, using the words of Sankey, one of these don't look like the other, X, and that is, you have the big guy from Connecticut, the big guy from Purdue, and a big guy from NC State. And then you have Mark Sears. I mean, definitely one of these is not like the others. And Nate Oates, if he were to just advance, you will see the college basketball world slowly begin to continue to move to this analytics base. It drives me nuts sometimes, but I'm jumping full bore on the bandwagon behind Nate Oates. Your comments, and then we'll got a couple callers. We're going to let them close out the program. You not hearing your X.
Nate Oates is doing it the way that he knows how to do it, and it's gotten Bama this far. It's gotten Bama to a place it's never been. So as long as it's working, I'm not going to knock it.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, let's get J-Rob. He's back in. J-Rob, you're in with Martin and Xavier. What's on your mind, sir?
Sorry, guys. I don't know what happened. I was just talking. I guess I'm talking to myself. I don't even know where I got to, but the guys did a great job at the end of the season coming from there to where they are now. Can't say enough for Coach Oates and how he's taking his team from where they were to where they're at. And also, I did want to say I didn't have no money bet on it, but that last shot did take me out of Ryan Fowler's pick the score contest. I did not want him to score that layup. But anyhow, I know you got other callers trying to get in at the end of the show, but one thing, Bama's on the way to the Final Four. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, J-Rob.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. All right. We have Jed. Jed, you're in on the Alabama One hotline. What's on your mind, sir?
Just seeing Alabama into the Final Four I didn't think I'd ever see this. So this is very cool.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing.
Tar Heel country. Yeah, living here in Tar Heel country and ACC country, and I just didn't think I'd ever see this.
Now, Jed, you have a wish list, right? You're pulling for 2 upsets in the Final Four, right?
Yes. I'm pulling for us to beat UConn, and then I'm pulling for State to beat Purdue so I can beat NC State to rub it in on the rest of the family.
Let me ask you, that would be great. For those who don't know, Jed is up in Cherokee, North Carolina. So regular contributor on the live stream at Alabama Sports with Martin Houston on the live stream. But hey, listen, Jed, I hate to say this, but these officials, it's a crying shame what they do to benefit Zach Edey. I guarantee you he had 14 in the lane violations, unless 3 seconds is different in the rest of the country than it is the way I count 3 seconds. You could wait 2 seconds with him in the lane and then still count to 5. And every time you touch him, he gets a foul. You know, he played that whole game without and had 1 foul. But to me, I hate watching it.
22 free throws.
Yeah.
He shot more free throws he shot 22 free throws. He shot 21 field goals.
So good luck, man. But I think that Burns has a chance. Did you got anything else before I let you go?
No, just Final Four bound Alabama. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, man. This is so cool. I mean, I'm telling you, never thought I'd live to see it, but I did. Never thought it happened. But it has, and that's Alabama Final Four bound. We got lots of comments, and we didn't get to all of them, but lots of people talking over on the chat. If you don't know what those comments are, hey, man, join the conversation with the live stream, but follow Alabama Sports with Martin Houston on Facebook. Have some great comments, interviews, pictures, reels, etc. that go up there. You'll be driving the ship tomorrow. Anything specific in particular you have that you want to hit on tomorrow?
DC, where DC Capstone Report will be on. We'll continue talking Bama basketball in the Final Four. Man, just what a great moment this is. None of us can say we were here for the first Alabama National Championship, but we can all say we were here for the first Final Four, and what a special time this is in Alabama history.
Most of us can't say we're here for the first 10. Oh, man. Alabama basketball, Nate Oat equal GOAT. I'm telling you, he deserves a statue. If Nick Saban deserved one after winning 1 national title, something that had been done 12 times before him, Nate Oates deserves a statue. It may not be a popular opinion, but Nate Oates is the GOAT of Alabama basketball, and he's done it in 5 years. Like it, love it, hate it. Nate Oates, we appreciate you, sir. And on behalf of the Martin Houston Show and Xavier and Justin, we say thank you for the memories. Now let's take this week, and as he said, we'll talk about it more this week. He now has to crack the code because UConn is a juggernaut. 13-plus point wins in every tournament game, starting with last year. A 30-0 run against the number 3 seed in an Elite 8 game. They are clearly, if I can say this, top dog as they are the Huskies. But can Alabama take them down? We got a puncher's chance. Let's have those threes falling like they were the other night. And we'll be there to watch it, and we'll be here to talk about it. I'm Martin Houston. That's Xavier Houston. That's Justin Jones. Remember this, trust in the Lord always, lean not your own understanding. And all